Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Homecoming 2020. This is my wife, Udella, and we're here to welcome you to one of the most beloved traditions at Lee University, where the alumni come on campus and they see one another again and reminisce, as well as talk about what's going on in their lives and to see what's happening in the life of Lee University.
Today, the yellow umbrellas are flying high over the Ped Mall, the leaves are changing, and the campus is just beautiful. Our students, they're finishing up their classes and getting ready for a break, and now the only thing missing this weekend is you.
Yeah, that's the sad part because of our commitment and priority to make our campus safe. We've had to do things differently this November. And instead of you coming home, we're bringing home to you.
We've planned a fantastic weekend of virtual events celebrating all things Lee, the past, the present, and the future, and we hope that you will join us.
So, grab a cup of coffee, find your favorite place, kick back, relax, and let's get this party started with Forever Aflame. Welcome home.
Over a century ago, Nora Chambers and her students lit a flame of education and faith that has been passed down for generations. Our Lee experience has helped preserve and continue that legacy. We are sparks of creativity, embers of ingenuity, fanned into flames that burn bright. So bright that we guide the way for generations of new students searching for truth and purpose and calling. This homecoming, we want to celebrate that story, our story. Now more than ever, we have the capability to connect no matter where in life or in the world we find ourselves. This homecoming is our way of lifting each other up and carrying our flame high as we head into a new era of excellence. Going home has never been easier. We're a family here at Lee. We're a treasured part of an ongoing 102-year tradition. We are forever aflame.
Welcome to 2020 Homecoming. My name is Kyle, and I'm your host for this evening. I graduated from Lee in 2010, and while I was a student, I was involved with lots of campus activities, including producing and hosting Life at Lee. So you can imagine my surprise when I got a call to help host this event. And then when I heard when you were shooting in the Conn Center, I was even more shocked. One of the last times I was here in the Conn Center, this happened. In fact, I have a little bit of a history of making fun of things around here.
Burst into flame.
Well, here I am. For better or for worse, I promised the alumni office I would try to be a little more reverent for homecoming. I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a tough one. The obvious COVID concerns around the country, the election, hurricanes, Kanye. When I came on the campus, it's even crazy here. I stopped by the president's office to see Dr. Conn, and he shaved off the famed mustache. He looks like a completely different person. I didn't even recognize the guy. I was like, hey, Dr. Conn! He didn't even turn his head. Despite these times that are keeping us apart for homecoming this year, we wanted to bring homecoming to you. Tonight, we have a great show for you, including all those staples of a great homecoming weekend, including musical performances and stories of alumni and students. Let's kick off this Forever Aflame night with a couple of our favorites, with new recordings produced recently with COVID protocols in place. First, welcome EVS under the direction of Gloria Scott Richmond, and then the Symphonic Band under the direction of Dr. Mark Bailey.
Expect the
Our students, faculty, and staff have had to be flexible this semester. The evangelistic singers and symphonic band are a couple of great examples of that resiliency. Before COVID hit, the Lee Singers embarked on a recording project with Integrity Music. Artists and writers gathered in the Lee University soundstage to produce an album and series of videos, which have had millions of views. The singers recorded a powerful choral piece, Yet Not I, and coming up a little later, we're going to share that worship experience with you. But before the singers perform, we want you to meet one of our students and an alum. One of the great things about being an alumni at Lee is we have the opportunity to pour into the lives of the current students in hopes that they'll have a transformational experience like we did. Maybe you are a student who received a scholarship funded by our alumni fund, or maybe you've been someone who's giving to that fund regularly. There's no doubt the lives of our students are significantly impacted by your generosity. One of those students is Brooke Barnhill. Brooke majors in business and receives a scholarship established by Glenda and Clint Weinhardt. We gave them a chance to meet for the very first time, where we found out that it's both blessed to give and receive.
Hi, Brooke. I'm Dr. Glenda Weinhardt. It's so nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you. I'm Brooke. I'm a sophomore at Lee, business major.
What have you decided what emphasis or what?
Yes, I have decided to be a nonprofit emphasis, so and then a Spanish minor just to kind of help with that a little bit. But yeah, it was actually sort of why I chose to come to Lee. I knew I wanted to do something with nonprofits. I feel like I have a really big tie to third world countries and just like pulling people out of poverty and turning them into developing countries. So I knew that was something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know that there was even a major to do that. So when I pulled up Lee's website and they had just recently added a business nonprofit major, I kind of felt like that was God's affirmation that Lee was where I was supposed to be. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I attended Lee in the early '80s, and I came for not all the same reasons, but I think it's interesting how you get drawn to Lee. So I sat down and really prayed about it and thought about it and just made some decisions and really felt like that's where I was supposed to go. And sort of on the side of that or connected to that is my family history with Lee, and lots of members of my family have either been faculty at Lee or attended, so very much a tradition in my family. So I think it's why it was so important for my mom. But I made the decision to go, and after I got there, I did not leave, and am thrilled that my undergraduate degree is with Lee.
And I think it's really interesting that you use the word drawn, because I think God really does do that with Lee. I think it's a place that really can like change your life. So I love that you used that word, because I didn't have any really ties to Lee at all. I'm only 3 hours away from home there, so I had definitely heard of it, but I didn't have any specific draw, but it definitely has changed my life, and Lee really has become a family for me. So.
One of the ways that my husband and I found to be able to give back to Lee was the ability to offer scholarships to students, that we wanted to make sure Lee's legacy and opportunities continued, but also because I feel very strongly about folks that may not have the family connection or necessarily the direct church connection, that they still have the opportunity to come experience a place like Lee.
Yeah, it really is something very special. Whenever I talk to people who have been to, or who like are Lee alums, they always say that their top 5 like closest friends they met at Lee and didn't even know before. So I think that's a really special thing, and it's something that's definitely unique to Lee. And the friends that I've already made, I know that they're lifelong friends, and they've become my safe place, and just it's been really, really good. So.
Well, and I can tell you as an alum that I would not, if there were any or ever an opportunity to support Lee in any way, not necessarily financially, but whether financially or in just attendance of something or helping them or participating or being a part of, I think it's really critical for alum to understand that that's how we connect back to the next generation of students that come to be part of our history and part of who we are. And I just think that's who Lee is, and that's what it is. So.
I really love that. I feel like when you're giving back in any way, you really are pouring into someone's life directly, and it's just like continuing on the legacy that you left at Lee and like pulling that culture that you had when you were there too, and allowing someone else to experience that as well, which I think is really, really special.
And the best part of this is usually we don't always get to meet the students that are receiving scholarships or working through programs that have been set up to support or help them do that. So I'm really thrilled, because that's the best part about today, is to actually be able to put a face with a name and meet the students that are.
One of the things that was really special about the scholarship too was the timing of it. I think it came in exactly when it was needed. It was such an unexpected blessing, but definitely something that was needed after COVID and after everyone's finances were shaken up and kind of just like put to the test a little bit. It just was a reaffirmation that Lee was exactly where I was supposed to be, and no matter what was going, like nothing was going to get in the way of that, even a pandemic. And Lee's done a really amazing job about just catering to every need that students have, and I think alumni play a really, really big part in that. So I really appreciate that.
I just can't tell you the amount of gratitude that we have to be able to see the opportunity be extended and for someone to benefit from that. That's the whole point of it. So
Well, I really appreciate that.
Well, it's great to meet you.
It's so
and
great to meet you.
Best of luck. If you ever need us, please
Thank
just
you
let
so
us
much.
know.
Means a lot.
You bet.
My Redeemer, there is no more for heaven now to give. He is my joy, my righteousness and freedom, my steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. For my life is wholly bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine, I can see all is mine, yet not I, but through Christ in me. Night is dark, but I am not forsaken. For by my side, the Savior, He will He has said that He will bring me home, and day by day I know He will renew me, until I stand with joy before the throne. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. All the glory evermore to Him. When the race is complete, still my lips shall repeat. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus. All the glory evermore to Him. When the race is complete, still my lips shall repeat. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. When the race is complete, still my lips shall repeat. Yet not I, but through Christ in me. Yet not I, but through Christ in me.
Hey Lee family, we are so excited to launch the 1918 Society, our new alumni organization.
We can't wait for the events, benefits, and network that this exclusive group will offer our Lee alums. Your Lee experience didn't end with graduation. In fact, a new chapter is just beginning.
As a member of the 1918 Society, you will receive all the latest information about life at Lee and the Lee community. You'll have access to lifelong learning opportunities and career resources like our Fuel the Flame Masterclass series and Fan the Flame Leadership Summit.
Our upcoming educational travel series will give you another chance to enjoy cross-cultural travel and learning with other alums and some of your favorite professors. It's now easier than ever to connect with your fellow Flames, and we're thrilled to provide that opportunity.
Society membership is just $25. When you join, you will receive a gift box full of 1918 Society swag, a member t-shirt, a car decal, and most importantly, your 1918 Society ID card. Now, you can use your ID card for discounts at the Lee U Bookstore, free rentals on the chapel for events, discounts at Cleveland area restaurants and businesses, and so much more.
To register, visit leesociety.com. Once we receive your information and $25 registration fee, the Office of Alumni Relations will send you your membership box full of 1918 Society goodies and your ID card that you can start using immediately. I hope you will join me in the 1918 Society and take advantage of the community and the resources it will provide.
Another way our alumni office is giving back to the Lee family is by offering the Young Alumni Professional Development Grant to graduates who have been out of Lee for 10 years or less. The grant focuses on professional development and growth for young alumni as they are beginning their careers. When Anna Douglas won the grant, she used the funds to launch a startup that might actually change the world. Here's Anna's story.
I had kind of a crazy journey coming to Lee. I was being recruited to play tennis by a variety of schools throughout the South and sort of the eastern seaboard of the US. My parents came across Lee. We reached out to the tennis coach at the time, who was Tony Cavett, and he arranged for a visit for us immediately. And so we came down and it was instant. We just fell in love. I knew, in my heart that that's where I was supposed to be. I double majored in math and chemistry, and then I did an internship at NASA in Cleveland, Ohio. Really fell in love with material science, so I found, what was going to be the best fit moving forward. I think, Lee provides this really great supportive culture where you get really unparalleled interaction with faculty that I have yet to see at other institutions. I absolutely think I was well prepared for a PhD program at a top-tier institution. So I went to grad school really with the intention of studying energy storage. The way we source and make advanced carbons today is not very sustainable. It's very expensive. It requires, a lot of energy to make these materials. And so when you think about the energy balance, you're trying to use them for all these green technologies, but if it takes a lot of energy to make them, it becomes kind of difficult to justify that. So we started looking at different technologies, where we could capture and convert atmospheric CO2 into useful things. So what we've developed really is this technology to capture greenhouse gas, make something useful out of it, and the value of that product is actually higher than the energy inputs to make it. And so, we started looking at this, kind of ran some economic numbers and realized this is more than just a research project. This is the start of a company. I remember getting an email advertising the Young Professional Alumni Grant and thinking, it's enough money to actually really do something. As a graduate student, looking at all the startup costs to even just form a legal entity and get the structure, correct and make a website. And I applied for the Lee Alumni Professional Development Grant to help cover a lot of those costs. And so that was massively influential in just the ability to actually form the legal entity, start going after, more funding for a company, which is, really what was required at that stage. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the grant. And so it was really meaningful. The goal is to scale up the technology and, actually build big things. There's a lot of small experiments that have to happen in order to do that. And so we have folks actually growing carbon nanotubes here in the lab. Carbon nanotubes are a really exciting material. They've been used by NASA and the Department of Defense for a while, but they're just too expensive. So Sky Nano is making carbon nanotubes out of CO2 at really low costs. So I just want to say a big thanks to the Lee alumni who have contributed to the Lee U Professional Development Grant Fund. Sky Nano really wouldn't be here today without it, and it's been instrumental in our journey. So big, heartfelt thanks.
Thank you, ladies of Lee, for your beautiful singing. I auditioned 4 times, never heard back, not offended, campus choir accepted me. I moved on. The School of Music, along with the entire university, has adapted well to the ongoing changes we've been facing the last several months, many of which have released new music videos on their social media channels, so make sure you check out your favorites. What an incredible night we've had together. Unfortunately, the evening is drawing to a close. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you tomorrow for the Viking Dash 5K, the Living Legends conversation with Lee presidents, and the We Are Lee program, where we'll crown the homecoming queen, celebrate Lee athletics, and present the honorary and distinguished Alumni of the Year. And don't forget the Alumni Chapel on Sunday. Tonight, we want to leave you with an original Lee U worship song that has become an anthem on our campus. Horizon was written and performed by students before the pandemic, but the lyrics still resonate widely for us at Lee, and we hope for you at home. Good night from Lee University, and remember, you are forever aflame.
And my soul will rest in your faithfulness always. I will wait for you as your spirit moves. Where you go, I'll follow. Through a drought or storm, I'll confess I'm yours always. Come on, we sing it straight to his heart. What you have started, you will complete it. Your word is like an anchor for my soul. On the horizon is what you've promised. Found within start.